Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another wargaming and miniature video. In this video, we're going to continue on with our SPQR project, and this is an update. If you're not familiar with SPQR, it is Warlord Games' skirmish game, their warband game, where one model on the table represents one person. And you have points, you build up your armies, and you and your friends can battle it out. You can have campaigns, and your heroes can gain levels and get stronger and better. Just to give you a little history, I had Romans and Germans already made and painted for Hail Caesar. And I decided that Hail Caesar, it's a good game, I like it, but it required, first of all, it requires too many models on the table, and you need a giant table to play. Or you need a ton of miniatures, 300, 400 miniatures per army, where SPQR, you only need about, well, shoot, you could play with 5 figures. But most likely you're going to play with maybe 20 or 30 figures. So think of it kind of like a bolt action for ancients. Okay, and when I got this game, it really excited me because now I could venture into different armies and not have to invest a lot of money. So I could have 5, 6, 7, 20 armies, and I'm still way less than just 2 armies with Hail Caesar. Okay, so having said, and it's playable in a lot faster time frame. So you're looking at maybe an hour for a very big game, or half hour for a very small game. If you have multiple friends and you're playing with a huge game, maybe a 8-foot table or something, it might take 2 hours. I looked at the mechanics of the game. The mechanics are dice heavy, so you got to roll a lot of dice. Get the box set. I got the box set in. It comes with Romans and Gaul troops, right? Gallic Celts, right? Okay, well, I put all those together, painted them all in 2 days, 4 days, 2 days each army. So, like, those guys are finished. Right? There was 52 Gauls and 16 Romans. Done. I had a couple of sprues of Romans left over from my Hail Caesar days. Threw them in there, put them together. So I got something like, 24 Romans as well. Okay. I had some Macedonians. I had some Phalangites. I still have a bunch still on the plastic sprue. Put them on 1-inch bases. Got some Phalangites. I had the successor army box, so I pulled out the elephant, put them together, put them on a base, done. I had some companion cavalry, pulled them out, put them on bases. Now I've got a companion cavalry unit. Finished, 90% finished. And I'll get into this in just a second. I have a huge unit of Phalangites, like 32, and the biggest unit you can have in SPQR is 30. So I could make 2 units of 16, or I could make 3 units of 10, or however I want to do it. So I've got those guys, and I'm still, we'll get into that in a minute. Okay, then I got my Romans, and then I got my Celts. And I thought about it, and I said, all right, well, I still have a box of Germanic tribesmen, but there's the only thing in this box is like 2 sets of command and some torsos from cavalry to make Celtic cavalry, Germanic cavalry. So these are kind of some odds and ends that I saved over from Hail Caesar. I can put them in SPQR. I just need to get some Germanic soldiers, right? Which I've got like maybe 5 or 6 already. But the reason why I say those guys are 90% finished, and here comes the update. This is the part of the video that I really wanted to share with you guys. I really like Little Big Men decals. right? Love them to death. So I went to Little Big Man, ordered a bunch of decals to put on my Romans, to put on my Celts, to put on my hoplites, and basically I just put a big order for decals, right? I haven't received those yet. I ordered those in March, and it seemed like it took him over a week to put those in the mail. I understand that the world is going through a crisis right now, and a lot of businesses are shut down, so I appreciate the fact that he's staying open and he's making shipments. But I did kind of anticipate those being shipped in less than a week, because I ordered like 8 decal sheets, maybe something like 8. Okay, so I also went to Warlord Games because they have some box sets specifically made for SPQR, because they're transitioning away from the metals to a resin, right? And the resin are easier to paint. You don't have to prime them. They're one piece, so you don't have to assemble them. There's a lot of good things about the resin models, but I noticed that the price per figure is about the same, if not a little bit higher. And one of the reasons why it might be a little bit higher is you get a little card with the box that tells you about that unit that you have, but I don't like the cards. The reason why I don't like the cards, and I'll go into this in my follow-up video of the tutorial of how to play the game, but the card tells you all the options you possibly could put on a unit, and then it tells you what the unit already comes with, how many points it is, what their stats are. Great. But if I have a unit with linothoraxes and then I add chainmail, it changes their armor value. But on the card, it still shows the linothorax, and so the linen. And so the card doesn't represent what you spent your points for. I think it would be better to have a blank card that I'm going to make on my own. I haven't done it, but I'm going to make them. I'm going to have a blank card with all the details that I need specifically for whatever my unit is. So I'll print my own cards, basically. So I just have to go through and create a template and then fill it out based on whatever I equip my guys with. And that's part of this project. I'm going to be doing that. Okay, but they still have those figures set up in warband sizes. So like this tribesman box originally came with 43 guys. You don't need 43 guys for SPQR. You could get away with 20, 24, something like that. And guess what? The SPQR boxes come with like 12 to 16, maybe even 24, depending on which one you look at. I don't know. But one of them pretty much everything I've ordered comes with 12. And that's a warband, right? So, so the price per figure is about the same, but you're only buying half or 1/3 or 1/4 as many figures. So instead of it being a $40 box set, I'm buying, or maybe a $60 box set, it's only $15 or $16, So it's a much better investment, right? So I don't have to buy a box and then only use half the box. I'm the kind of guy that would buy a box and then use the whole box, because you can have more than one warband. You can have 3 or 4, not warbands. You can have 3 or 4 units, because your warband is your entire army. That's the terminology. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. So I ordered those decals to finish up my Celts and my Romans, but also I had a box of mercenary hoplites, And I said, you know what? That could be easily could be 3 warbands, just like the Germans. So I said, you know what? I can make one of them like have gold shield or bronze shields. Another one could have white shields. Another one could have green shields or whatever. So I ordered a bunch of hoplite decals as well. So I have everything painted, but I don't want to glue the shields onto the figures because Little Big Men decals are not water slide decals. They're sticky decals. So what you do is you cut them out, right? You got to have a white shield. You cut them out. You peel the plastic off of the backside of the decal, and then you stick it like a sticker onto the shield, and you have to apply some pressure to get all the air bubbles out, and you got to get it to really stick to your shield, you have to really apply some pressure. I apply pressure to make sure everything's in there just right. And then you take some water on a brush and you wet down the paper on the back, let it sit for a minute or two, and then the paper slides off, and boom, you've got your decal, right? Well, I'm afraid that when I go to put the decal on and I press, the guy who's holding the shield, his arm's going to pop off. Because, like, the hoplites, the arms are actually in the shield. So you have to glue the arm on, and then I'm afraid that little spot where the arm is glued on will just pop off when I start applying pressure. So I'm leaving all those shields off. Same thing with the Celts and the Celts and the Romans. They've got the center boss shield, so they got their hands out, and the shield is glued directly to the hand. Well, I'd be afraid that I'd break it or pop it off the hand, and it just makes it easier that if I just have a row of shields, I could just go stick, 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 stick. It's going to be way faster. And then once they're done, I just glue them on. What I've found, and this is very cool, it's way easier, I've noticed, with these hoplites and the Romans and the Celts. It was way easier to paint them when they don't have their shields blocking your view. So when they don't have the shield like keeping you from painting everything, when it's wide open, it was way easier. I started painting these hoplites today, and I'm almost finished. The only thing I've got left is the bronze and the plumes and the weapons, and they'll be done. So I anticipate finishing those up tomorrow, minus the shield transfers. So really, technically, they're not going to be done. The Romans, the only ones that I have done over there are those 6 guys with the blue, because I had that left over from when I did Hail Caesar. Okay. I ordered some Sarissa pill-shaped bases for my cavalry, right? Because I was going to put each faction, no matter what, I'm going to give them some kind of cavalry. I'm going to give my Romans some cavalry. I'm going to give my Celts some cavalry. I'm going to give my Macedonians, they already have their companion cavalry. So I needed some pill bases because I don't want them to be the square 1 inch by 2 inch base. I don't want that. I want the 1 inch by 2 inch, but I wanted the rounded edges because to me, the rounded edges make it appear to be more of a skirmish game. The square bases, like old Warhammer Fantasy, made it more like a rank and file game where you would put blocks of troops out and move them around, like Kings of War or old Warhammer Fantasy or Hail Caesar. So I wanted them on the traditional, they come with 1 inch round bases. I figured I'm going to use 1 inch round bases. Okay, I've learned this with my bolt action army. The plastic model on a plastic base is top heavy. I know it's crazy, right? A plastic model is top heavy, but and then if you ever get a metal miniature, like a specialty model from a warlord, and you put it on a plastic base, he is way top heavy. You don't get a whole lot of metals anymore unless you specifically order them, because all the old metals that they're putting in SPQR boxes are now resin, which are lightweight. Doesn't matter to me. I wanted 1-inch fender washers. So I've got them on a 1-inch fender washer. This has got a 1/8 inch hole, so that's super small. It's a 1-inch round. You glue the base just like you normally would on any other, and I texture the base. But this gives this model some weight. I have a hard time, when it's on, especially if you're on a slope, on a hill or something like that. These models don't want to fall over because they're on that extra heavy base. If they're on a fender washer, it's metal, which means, and it's magnetic, which what I mean is a magnet will hold it. So all I need to do, and I've got over there a bajillion of them, 2-inch by 2-inch squares, magnets. I just plop 4 of these figures down there, and boom, all of a sudden it's ready for Hail Caesar. Okay, so but I'm out of fender washers. I think I've got like 10 left. So knowing that I was going to be doing this with my SPQR armies, I went ahead and ordered some fender washers like 3 weeks ago. And I ordered some paint. And this is all from a local hobby store. Let me back up. This is all from a local hardware store. But because of the virus, you can't go in and shop. You can order, it'll be delivered, or you could do store pickup. But either way, I said, you know what? I'll just order some fender washers, have them deliver it, right? But then I thought to myself, I could order some paint as well, some spray paint. I ordered the spray paint. I ordered the fender washers. I got the spray paint like 2 weeks ago. Fender washers just got shipped like 2 days ago. So I should be getting those Monday. That's fine. I don't have anything that I need to put them on, except maybe I have a bunch of extra phalangites, but I'm not going to put those on fender washers. I'm going to probably just leave them in the box until I think I, swing back around to needing more of them. Forgot about this. When I ordered from Sarissa 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 3 weeks ago, I ordered from Sarissa. I ordered those pill bases, but I also ordered like a villa, like an old ancient villa building. And when I get that in, I'll be putting that together and showing you what that's all about. I love my Sarissa buildings. I think Sarissa makes awesome buildings, and I love their bases. Their MDF cut bases are great. I like Litco as well. Litco Aero makes some great bases. They make some good magnets too. That's where I got my 2-inch by 2-inch magnets, was from Litco. Okay, so my Sarissa order's not here yet. They say they have shipped it already. It's coming from, overseas, England. I understand there's probably a hold time in customs because of the virus and all that. They're probably going to, I don't know. But it's probably delayed. So I get that. I understand. I'm just letting you know I haven't got it yet. I also ordered from Warlord. Okay, I didn't mention this, but I did order from Warlord quite a bit. I ordered an ass ton of models, right? And some decals specifically for the Warlord models. And when I say an ass ton, that's not really true, because they're SPQR boxes. They're a lot smaller. But I ordered some more Macedonian peltasts. Yeah, here we go. I ordered some sky-clad naked barbarians. some druids, some Roman heroes, which is going to have Pulo, Varenus, Mark Antony, and Caesar, which I already had all of those models based and painted for Hail Caesar. And instead of cutting them off of their bases and putting them in my army, I went ahead and sold them. Sold them painted. I'm going to get a chance to repaint them, and I got new techniques. Ordered some pikes, the terrain crate campsite, so it's some tents and stuff. I can use that for D&D as well. I decided to order a laser for line of sight because I play 148 tactic as well, and that needs line of sight, but I ordered that through this Warlord thing. I ordered a bunch of paint as well, like light tone, flesh wash, soft tone. I heard soft tone is not the same as light tone, so I'm going to have to experiment with that. And some highlight flesh. Flesh is kind of a pet peeve of mine. I've come up with a lot of different techniques to do flesh, and we're going to experiment again once I get this flesh tone in from Warlord. Okay, and then they also have plate mail metal that I ordered because right now I'm using chainmail silver from Vallejo, and that's a good color, but is it different? We're going to find out. If not, then I'll just have two of them. And so I should be getting that in soon. I don't know when. They say they shipped it like on the 6th. All right. So then I got excited. I said, okay, let me look at Victrix. I heard that Victrix has some really good detail on their models. I went to the Victrix site. I saw that they had Athenian hoplites, Theban hoplites. They had Republican Romans, Republican allies like Italians and Samnites and stuff, Carthaginians, Iberians, Spanish Cutari, they had some and they had Macedonian Hypaspists. So you know what I did? I put a big, huge order through Victrix. I probably ordered like 8 box sets. Some of them have 24 figures. Some have like 48 figures. Okay, so I looked at the... let's look at the Athenian hoplites. Comes with 48. I said, that's easily 3 warbands or 3 units of 16. Awesome, right? Same thing with the Thebans. And then combined with my mercenaries, I can easily have a Greek army out there like in no time flat. And we can vary it. You know, I can have variations of it. Like we could do I want to say Atlanteans, but I know they're Athenians. I could have some Athenians. I could have some Thebans. I don't have any Spartans now. I've been thinking about getting some Spartans too, but I'm resisting the urge because Spartans seem to be meta, you know, and I don't. It'd be fun to play Spartans, and I might do some modifications on one of these next videos. I'm going to sit down and break down the point cost for each unit, because I want to know how much a man in the nude with no abilities is. And then I can build up from there, because I know how much armor is. I know how much weapons are. I know how much wounds are and, you know, attacks are and stuff like that. That's what I want to break it down to see if I can get like a base cost of a man. And one reason why I want to do that is because there is no Republican Romans or Carthaginians in the SPQR book. and I can make my own army lists because I know how the armies were put together. Okay, so, and I'm really excited about doing some Republicans. You know, I want to see some Triarii. I want to see some Principe and some Hastati out there. I want to see some Carthaginian hoplites out there. You know, I want to see some elephants. You know, that's what I want to do. And I want to fight in the desert. No, I don't, but maybe some Numidians, Iberians or something, you know, allies. I don't know. So we're gonna figure that out. Okay. So I ordered Victrix. I ordered a bunch. And then I said, you know what? These guys aren't going to come with decals. And I can't go without decals. I mean, I could hand paint some designs, but they would look like crap. I mean, I would have 3 or 4 different designs. And I mean, I can do some medieval heraldry, no problem. But when it comes to Greek hoplite shields, I'm not that good at that. And I can't paint a Roman shield either. So, because of the animals, they got all kinds of different animals and stuff, and faces and fish and stuff like that. I'm like, I would, now if I could get a picture of one, and then I could go, you know, that would be no problem. I could probably do that, but that would take forever to do. So, I mean, just that one unit right there, which has like 50 guys, it would take forever. And I got the Athenians, Thebians, the Hypaspids, and then I ordered some Balearic slingers, some Greek archers, some Greek javelinmen, some Greek. I ordered a bunch of Greek. I'm like, I'm just going to be set for the whole Macedonian and Greek area. I don't have a Spartans. Okay, sorry, this video is going on for a little while. So I ordered those. They were shipped like almost immediately, within like 3 or 4 days. I'm surprised because on their website they said they were understaffed because of and they would ship, you know, as they get them in, the best, you know, they'll do their best to ship them out. And I didn't expect them to ship them within a couple of days, but they shipped it within a couple of days, gave me a tracking number and everything. And I'm like, okay, and I'm kind of expecting those on Monday as well, but we'll see. I'm sorry, the Warlord. Did I say Victrix? The Warlord guys shipped within just a couple of days. So, but when I ordered the Victrix guys, I ordered that probably the same day as the Warlord. Maybe a day before. Because I was really excited about the Hypaspids. You know, I was super excited about those and the decals and all the like archer slinger types. The Athenians and the Thebians were kind of an afterthought, but I went ahead and ordered them anyway. And that's why I ordered the fender washers, because I ordered the fender washers because I knew I was going to be getting in a buttload of Victrix in, and they don't have any of the plastic bases, and I don't want to put them on plastic bases anyway. I want to put them on the metal bases anyway. So I ordered 200 fender washers, which is still probably not enough, but I wish they made metal pill bases. They don't. So I could cut some magnets up, and they have this thing called flex steel, which Litco does, that you stick on the bottom of your plastic bases to make them stickable on a magnet. So I'm going to probably have to order some of those too. Victrix, it's what, the 17th by now? Have not shipped anything. I spent almost $200 there. And I go to their website and I click on whether it's been fulfilled or not, and it says paid, unfulfilled. So it's going to be a while before I get those in. When I get them in, I'm going to do a review of them. I know there's already been some reviews out there, but I want to give you my take on them, my spin. Same thing with the Warlord guys. When they come in, I'm going to open them up and show you what they're all about. Okay, so now you know what I've got on order. and basically this should tell you what kind of videos are going to be coming out. The Sarissa building, the pills for cavalry, which I don't really have any cavalry to put on the pills because I've already put my Macedonians on their own bases they came with. So that's fine. I've got some little big men decals. I've got some Victrix models somewhere in the world. I've got Warlord on the way with a bunch of models. And that's pretty much it. I got all that coming in. Okay. Let's back up. I do biannually, is that how you would say it? Biannually projects, usually. It takes me about 6 months from start to finish to build up all my armies. Okay, so like I took bolt action. I did 6 armies in 4 months. I did legs, U.S. infantry, airborne. I did 2 airborne armies. Then I did Fallschirmjägers, SS, and grenadiers with tanks and anti-tank guns and machine guns, and I went hog heaven. Just boom! I said because I was doing a convention last year and we did the Operation Market Garden, and I wanted to have all the airborne drops. I was even thinking about doing 30 Corps. I said nah. But I did I did Grenadiers and Fallschirmjägers and SS and made all the buildings and everything for all 3 tables. That was a project. Okay, and you can see a bunch of those buildings right up there and some trees, and those were the tiles that I made. There we go. Let's lean a little bit. Those are the tiles I made for that game. Those games. And then afterwards I realized I don't need all these armies. I'm not going to run this scenario again, and I really hated doing it, but I sold a bunch of my bolt action stuff because I'm kind of really into 148 tactic, but so I sold all that. And that's what that money that I sold for my bolt action and my Hail Caesar, because I sold my Hail Caesar armies, helped finance this project. Okay. I've already got 3 armies, almost 4 if you count the Greeks. I've almost got 4 armies finished already, and I only ordered this 3 weeks ago. Started getting into SPQR like 3 weeks ago. That's amazing. You can get an army put together in a week, and that's why I'm saying you should. Okay. Before that, this is my point. I'm looking down at this thing, and it's prompting me to give you this lead up to this. Before Bolt Action, I did an American War of Independence project for black powder. Before that, and that was mostly already painted. Maybe 50% of it was already painted back when I played British Grenadier. I just converted it to the base size. Big deal. But then I did add a bunch of units. But okay. So I had the American War of Independence, and I still have those. They're in the white trays over here. I am not getting rid of my American War of Independence. The year before that, because we did a Quatre Bras scenario at NashCon as well, and that was Napoleonics Black Powder. Right before Black Powder 2 came out. It was like Black Powder 1, or maybe 2 had just come out. I don't remember. Maybe 2 just came out. But either way, that project, I guess what I did with those guys? I sold those as well, because I realized I'm never going to play that. It's too big. The the quantity of figures and the amount of the table size you need and the amount of time it takes to play those battles is just so long. And I kind of got that from Hail Caesar as well, and that's why I sold Hail Caesar and my Napoleonics. I sold my Napoleonics last year though, because I knew that was coming, and that's why I got into SPQR. Back up. I used to play Napoleon's Battles. That was my big go-to Napoleonics game. But 15 mil and, again, mass battles just wasn't my thing anymore. It was like, I understand it's kind of cool to have like a whole division on the table or 3 divisions on the table and a whole corps, and you're going at it against your your opponent, and you're really influencing a actual battle. Nah, I prefer like a bolt action. I used to play Command Decision and Spearhead, and those games were mass battles. You're moving around battalions around to different, you're taking different towns and assaulting different objectives and hills and stuff. It's too abstract. I can get it. I get the whole idea. I'm moving a platoon over here. I'm moving a tank company over here. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to play a board game in 3 dimensions, because that's what you're doing. You're playing Squad Leader or Tactics 2 or whatever you're playing, Third Reich. I'm moving divisions around, but they just have figures mounted on their bases. No, I didn't want to play that. I don't want to play a board game. If I wanted to play a board game, I'd play a board game, or I'd play it on the computer. I want to see individual dudes. I want to see a building where they go in, they go upstairs. That's the kind of stuff I was looking for. And so I got fed up with my Hail Caesar stuff. I made 2 armies, and I didn't really even finish them. I only had like 300 models per side, and that was only about 2/3 of the armies. And I was like, that's a lot of figures, and the game's just no. So when I saw SPQR, I'm like, because I'm really big into the Romans, Carthaginians, Gauls, Celts, Boudica and Philip, and So I said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go with SPQR. I'm in love with it. But my point is, one of my points are, I like to have visual paint guides. I mean, I got my computers. I can pull up pictures from the internet of how other people are doing it, or actually picture slides and stuff on the internet, totally free, right? I can find all kinds of Pinterest videos or pictures. It's just not the same as having something in my hand. So I have Osprey books, and I have just painting guides and all kinds of books over here for painting ancients. But there were a few armies that I didn't have the books for. And then just out of the blue on Amazon, I wasn't even looking for it. It was in the back of my mind. I wasn't even looking for it. This book showed up on my, hey, you might be interested in this. I have the exact same book for the American War of Independence. And I thought it was the best book for painting American War of Independence figures, because it had all the units, all their paint, pants and jackets and turnbacks and everything, what kind of hats they wore, what kind of hunting coats and all that stuff. And I said, if this is anything like that book, this is well worth the $30 that I paid for it. Let me move my mic out of the way so I can pick it up. Oh my God, this book is so heavy. Let's get the glare off of it. Uniforms of the Roman World. An illustrated encyclopedia. That is... It looks... Visually, it looks exactly like my American War of Independence one. Okay, so let's open it up. The first thing you see, 1,000,000 units. Same thing with American War of Independence. Had the exact same pictures. Now, I found this to be kind of telling, maybe, if you want to use the word. Oh, look at that. Okay. Underneath the inside cover, right? Underneath, there's this one little unit right there. It's the testudo. But what's funny is they're on bases. These are miniatures. I was like, oh, look at that. They got some miniatures. Okay, so let's just kind of just take a look. Guys, and then here it would say, it tells you about those guys. A little bit of history. The first chapter is usually like, what is it, But then once you get past the first chapter, talks about the dynasties, Eastern Roman emperors, Roman Republic. It tells you a little bit about their strategies. This is not why I got this book, but it's cool. Okay, here we go. Now we're almost there. The army of the Republic, the Carthaginians. Okay, now we're talking about just the Carthaginians. And if I flip the page, boom. And it tells you, just as an example, this guy right here, right? It says, Etruscan warrior, 6th century BC. And then it says, Etruscan infantry were armed and equipped in the Greek style with greaves and a round hoplite shield, but with a flexible cuirass, which we know that's the linothorax, right? Okay. And then you got this flute. Oh, that's early Italians and Etruscans. That's not the Carthaginians. Okay. Early Italians, the Villanovans, the Samnites. From phalanx to legion, the Manipler tactics. I'm flipping multiple pages at a time. Senior officer, the Cynifer or Cynifer, and standard bearers. Centurions, the cavalry. The Carthaginian army. Numidians. Who's that guy? Celtic Iberian. Balearic Slinger. The Macedonian Wars. Thracians. Arms and armor. Rome at the height of its power. And there's more pictures. Roman emperors. Like, I'm not going to paint an emperor. The Roman army of the civil wars. Pompey and all that, It was Pompey, right? Or was it Crassus? No, I think it was Pompey. Okay. The reforms. Shows me all the legions and where they were stationed in the 1st and 2nd centuries. A.D. Not reckoning. The cohort legion. Sorry, I'm a Christian. The Spartacist revolt. Okay, not that we're playing that, but we could. The Spartacist revolt would be perfect for SPQR. I mean, yeah, get some gladiators out there. Okay. Army developments under Augustus. You know, with the segmentada and all that. Guards. And now some of this overlaps, like when they talk about artillery and stuff like that, but then they say, you know, you got early artillery, late artillery. But here's the Germanic enemy. Arms and armor. Decline, fall of the West. Barbarian migration. The late empire. And then you start, they go all the way into 3rd and 4th century AD. Okay, I was hoping I flipped multiple pages, but death of the old Roman army. Goths. Okay, they might be getting a little bit too late. There's the Huns. The Persians. Okay, Persians are in there. Desert empires. Africa. Okay. The end of Roman Britain. Picts. Some shields, no big deal. Helmets. They're showing like a bunch of different castles and like where they are, and like this is the Battle of Adrianople with Constantine the Great. That guy looks cataphracty. Clibinarius. Okay. Was, in all intents of purposes, a cataphract. Okay. And the Battle of Manzikert. Post-Manzikert. Okay. The Dynasties. Yeah, this book is just awesome. I mean, the American War of Independence version of it was awesome. So, Roman engineering. So you're looking at different types of artillery pieces. I know this video wasn't supposed to be a review of this book, but the Marines. And some of that looks Republican, Caesarian, Imperial. That's just a plain wood shield. That's cool. He's got scale on it. Is it leather scale? Scale armor is often used by Roman auxiliary. The archer's got a composite bow. A neck scarf stops chafing. Yeah, okay. See, now, I didn't know that these guys would have been naval. I always thought the Navy guys had the hex shields. Navy design. Now they're talking about the ships. Maybe you want to know about the ships? I strongly recommend this book to anybody doing historical ancients. Yeah. Samnites, Carthaginians, Celts, Macedonians, Gauls, Huns, Sassanids, Persians, Turks, Etruscans. Over 600 images of military dress. This says 35. I think I got it for 30 on Amazon. I think it was on sale. Yeah. All right, so thank you for coming out and checking out this video. Oh wait, I gotta show you what I've done. Okay, I was gonna put it up here, and I was gonna let you. Let me close this. Let me make that bigger. Let me turn this on. Boop. You don't need these. You don't need to see me. Okay, and let me just talk about this video as it plays. Well, right there before I hit play, that's part of my Gallic army. That's the figures. Every figure you see there, except for those two horsemen in the back and the guy in the by the Roman mile fort. Oh, I scratch built. All those figures there are the ones that come in the SPQR box. You get the hero who's up front. And you notice how nobody has any shields? Decals. The archers are on the left there. The guys in the middle are both of those two units right on the right are the tribesmen, the warriors, but they both would have different point values because the ones on the right have chainmail, and the ones on the left, the bare-chested ones, have helmets and swords. The chainmail guys have spears. All right, so let's go. I might pause it the next time we see. Yep, and then I had a few leftover Germans right there, and there's my Agincourt guys off to the left, but who cares about them? Okay, and I made a mile fort, and these guys I was gonna use in Hail Caesar and never did, but I had them in my drawer, and I said, hey, I can always mount those on a fender washer when I get those in. And then I've got a couple of cavalry standard bearers in the back that I didn't use. So these are my barbarians, my Celts, which you can use them as Britons or any Celt. You know, I could use them as Germans if I wanted. Trying to get the focus to work right. Yeah, and those were all resin. These guys are the standard Warlord Games Celts. Look at that skin. I think I did a good job with the skin tone and everything. With the muscle tone and everything. Tell me what you think about that. Put that in the comments if you like the way that skin came out. I did a video on a new way I'm doing skin, but it's hit or miss, just depending on the way out what I'm doing. And then these are my Romans. Yeah, you only get 16 Romans in the box, and I think I had a couple. I think I had a couple extra sprues of Romans, so I just went ahead and put them all together. I've got green tunics. I've got linen tunics and blue tunics. The blue guys are up front there, and those were the little big men decals that I had left over from previously. And that leader there, the hero, he was resin. Then I got my elephant in the back. I got my Macedonian phalangites. And there's, with their sarissa. Yeah, the elephant, I did a video on how to paint that. And then I got my, what do you call them? Companion cavalry on the pill basis. And then over here, you got my hoplites that I'm working on. I got some unarmored hoplites right there. The no armor at all, except for helmets. They're going to have large shields. And then these guys all have the linothorax, and a handful, maybe 2 or 3 in each unit have the breastplate. And there's the extra shields that I'm not going to put on. And there's a few extra there. Yep, and they're all spear armed. All right, well, that was it. And thank you for coming out and checking out this video. And look forward to seeing a few more as I start to get stuff in. Plus, I want to do factional breakdowns of the rules. And I want to break down an actual point value. I want to break the points down so that I know when I'm building my Carthaginian and my Republican Roman armies that I'm getting the points right. It doesn't really matter for any games that I play because I'm never gonna. I don't hardly ever use points. I always play scenarios like pre-written scenarios. Like there were 25 guys there, or hypothetically, let's say I pick a battle like Granicus or something, and I'm not going to have that many phalangites out there. I'm not going to have a huge Macedonian army, but I might say there were 10 phalanxes So I'll have 2. And there was a bunch of cavalry units, we'll have 1. And there were some archers, let's have some 1. So I might build a scenario like that. But and I use the points in the back of my mind to kind of make sure everything's balanced. But because I like both sides having an opportunity to win, but it doesn't have to work that way. All right, guys. I will catch you next time.